Why, hello everyone. It is I, your local highness. I have been scratching my head for more than an hour now as to how I'm going to broach discussing this topic, but you know what? Sometimes being blunt is best. I elected to have cosmetic surgery, and I wanted to inform you and include you in on that. Yes, I know, shocking. But walk with me for a moment, let's discuss this. Last November 3rd, I elected to get something called a mini neck lift, an invasive surgery that allowed me to have a more defined jawline. Yep, that is me. That is me, all right. That is the before and that is the after. And listen, you know the doctor did a phenomenal job when literally almost no one recognized that you got work done. The point of this video is that I want to make sure I keep people not only informed, but I also want to have a more nuanced discussion on the topic of cosmetic surgery. I have more than 2 million followers, and collectively I have a lot of people who follow, like, and really enjoy my work. And as such, I want to treat you all with respect. A decision like cosmetic surgery on someone such as myself who is a public figure actually means something to people. I'm sure the first question that is going to come to people's mind is why? Why did I choose to do this? And the answer is you're not getting one. The personal choices that I make about my body, my face, and everything else about me is entirely and only up to me. The only opinion that ever matters in something like this is me, and I do not need to justify the personal reasonings for that choice. Keeping you all informed, however, that's an entirely different matter. I do deserve to tell you that. This decision I took to elect myself to have this surgery was 10 years in the making. This wasn't some sporadic choice that I decided to do on a whim. And that point of waiting 10 years is something I really want to stress to young people. Guys, your 20s is one of the single most tumultuous periods of your entire life. You don't know yourself just yet. You're going to have very differing opinions about who you are, what you want to be, and how you're going to be that person in the future. Rather than treating this as like a fun little gimmick, I want to impart not only the knowledge that I accumulated, but also make sure that you treat cosmetic surgery with a certain degree of severity. The first key thing that I recommend to everyone is obviously board certification. No matter what, you need to make sure that the doctor that you choose is board certified. Although this is the most obvious, you would be shocked by the amount of people who elect to ignore this entirely. The website that I used to begin and jumpstart my research was something called Real Self. Real Self is an online database system, kind of like the Wikipedia of plastic surgery in a way. It shows you a bunch of options involving different doctors, different procedures, what kinds of procedures are available. People post photos, reviews about their doctor, as well as showing all of the credentials that these doctors have. The doctor I ended up choosing was Dr. Thomas Sterry. He has over 25 years experience, obviously board certified, and he was a doctor who had consistently very good reviews from his patients. This leads me into the next topic that is critically important when choosing a doctor: bedside manner. Just like in every field there ever has been and ever will be, there are good people and there are awful people. Does this doctor pressure you into doing something you don't feel quite comfortable with? Do they make comments about your face and body that you weren't there for to begin with? Do they try to add unnecessary procedures? Lastly, do they tell you about the complications and risks? You need to be aware of all of the information, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Those are the major things that you should know.
Okay.
Right? Infection, bleeding, and nerve. You see, cosmetic, right? I want you to be happy.
Yes.
You could have some swelling, as I mentioned, 3 to 6 months would not blow my mind. Most people by 3 months are looking pretty damn good though. Oh, this is important. The first 2 days, because I tighten that muscle over here, everybody says it's hard to swallow for 2 days. And somehow, miraculously on day 3, they're better. But your diet in general, I wouldn't bite into a hoagie.
Not with that attitude.
Just
And you said that the incision is only here? I've seen, or rather heard, some people do like an incision in the back.
So that's more of what I call a formal neck lift. And that would be where I'm taking away skin.
Right.
Because you got to, when you're redraping the carpet, you got to, where you
gotta
put
tack it down somewhere.
Right, you got to cut it away from
Need
someplace.
an anchor.
And you don't want to scar here, exactly. Oh yeah, that's
so
the scar we're probably talking about. That's an example. But what we're hoping to do is push your musculature back this way. I will take out a little bit of fat, and you may end up with that corner, you may end up with something softer. The reason I put this right angle here is I'm going to do a little liposuction all along the jawline. You see how you've just got this subtle little bit of a line there. The liposuction underneath is going to give you more definition. So
Correct.
it'll be clear that that's cheek and that's neck. It doesn't have to fall off the chair.
I was getting there.
Dr. Sterry and his team from there described to me the entire procedure. Number one, I would have to get blood work done. You don't just get put under. You need to have an anesthesiologist have full confirmation that you can actually go under. After submitting my blood work and going into the procedure, I would have to make sure that I had a designated person to take me home. That designated person was my mom. I then from there would then be put under, and a 1-inch incision would be made under my jaw. I don't know if you can see it, but that there is my scar. Did I feel anything? What was the procedure like? The best way I could describe it is just simply, I went to sleep and then I woke up. When I woke up from my anesthesia, I was delulu. I waited for about 45-ish minutes until I felt better. And then I got checked out by my mom, who took me home. And that's when the real healing actually happened. Now, Dr. Sterry warned me about this, that the first 3 days of my healing journey was gonna suck the most. When I heard that warning, I was like, okay, whatever. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. No. He was right. It felt like I had a golf ball in my throat for the first 3 days. During a neck lift procedure, you have 2 healing types. The first is the initial heal, the second is the long-term heal. The initial heal is categorized by bruising, swelling, feeling like you have a golf ball stuck in your fucking throat. Remember, I went through an invasive surgery. This area got cut. Ergo, the nerve endings are screaming bloody murder.
Why you didn't tell me about the bridge?
I did.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you did not.
I said stop.
I don't understand what you be saying.
What?
You see what I'm saying?
But after graduating from the initial heal and going into long-term heal, that's when the real work began for my body. These muscles are in a brand new position, so my body had to get used to being in that new position. I went from at first experiencing this weird tightness where I couldn't even extend my neck past a certain angle to having full range of motion. I made sure to purchase things like scar cream as well as scar tape to make sure that as the scar continued to heal, that it would be flat and that it would eventually fade. As I had to keep coming back to Dr. Sterry for my checkups, he had to make sure to continuously take photos of the process of me healing. The doctor is not doing this to judge you. They're trying to verify your safety and healing journey. If you yourself choose to have a surgery like this, you need to ensure you have a support system, be it family or friends or even co-workers otherwise, someone that you explicitly trust. You need to make sure that they stay informed about the process and that they know ahead of time about how to take care of you. And if you are a person who is alone, make sure that you properly plan ahead of time in terms of things like grocery delivery, medication. My mom kept stockpile of soups, broths, making sure I was well hydrated.
She even gave me blueberries.
And she also helped me feel really safe when I decided to take my first shower. I'm a relatively healthy person. I've never been hospitalized for anything, so I've never had a real surgery before. Feeling numb and raw and swollen, I was a mess. I live in an age where I could have very easily decided to go for things like Botox or filler even, electing instead to have a one-and-done surgery that I wouldn't have to think about for decades and more than likely won't even need to even touch in the future ever again, made much more sense to me than having to continuously get and pay for things being done to my face a lot over time. Dr. Sterry did everything correct that a doctor should do. He respected my features, he respected my autonomy, and he respected my choices in the matter. And now that it's all done, I'm happy. That's all that matters to me. Dr. Sterry, you have been nothing short of an incredible doctor. You deserve all of your roses and beyond. And obviously thank all of the wonderful nurses. Ladies, you have been nothing but the best. But yeah, that's my life update. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a thing or two. And I hope that you all remain respectful in the comment section. It's the least I could ask, but you know, in the end, some people will say what they want to say, and that's okay too. I'm just not gonna care. Hopefully, I'll see you guys all for another video. Bye!